they already passed on, like they already went on about, and Jackie was like, "Oh, it's only $10." In reality, it was 15. And Chris was like, "You can't make the deals like that because then go get him." And he had to like go chase this guy in the parking lot.
Yep, that was the slight drama at the auction. And then, of course, they were talking back and forth throughout the rest of the thing, and it was like, dude, it's over. Forget it. You can't fix it. Like, it's done. So, all right. Well, we're live. I've got I've got a Facebook up. So anybody watching on Facebook, I didn't even post it on Facebook. I was so out of sorts this morning. I've just been so. I apologize if I sound short and cruddy.
He's gonna take a nap.
What do you think about the R2D2 hot tub?
Yeah, that's pretty nice. It's funny because my wife just bought a little pool for the backyard yesterday. So.
And I'm gonna be in it today.
So Tom's Food Factory says we're turning into the Brady Bunch.
Dad, you'll probably be the only one that gets this because Wesley doesn't watch Marvel. Do you remember the little short that came out of the Marvel?
Yeah.
And it was like the Marvel bunch?
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, where they were singing and Tony Stark was Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I had to know if you remember seeing that because I was like, I saw it, but I don't know where I saw it.
With different characters in the squares?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Tom, actually, the little meme that I got where I took all the words from was with Peter Brady. And when I went to put it on the thumbnail, it was too big, so you couldn't get all the words and everything. So I had to just take the words and put it on my picture. One that I was smiling in, you know. So we got Rusty back. He's back from his long adventure here.
8 days. I was so glad to be home yesterday.
Well,
until I saw my grass is this tall because Tommy didn't cut the grass all week while I was gone, which I didn't expect it to be cut when I got home anyway.
Yeah. What are you doing, Cub? You're moving everything.
Well, it looks better.
Well, yeah, but now you got the TV and stuff in there.
Mm.
Yeah, so move it back.
You still had the TV.
Well, fix it. So I had a problem this morning, and this whole thing collapsed, and
I don't know how to fix this.
you gotta up tilt and lean forward.
Up tilt, lean forward.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Now let's try it.
So
let me just figure out how to stand up without making something else.
So it is still melanoma month. May is still melanoma month, all month long. Yep. Now you gotta tilt the camera part.
There we go.
You gotta tilt the camera part. Shorty. Come on. Honey Badger's in. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, buddy.
Whoa.
Oh, that's too short. Go.
There you go. There you go. That's better.
That'll
work for now. So
since Honey Badger's in, I'm gonna show him this real quick.
Okay.
Remember 2 weeks ago when I was here, I showed you that I got this trivet at the auction. Well, 2 trivets for $5. Well, this one has the eagle in the middle. You said that you knew what these were. Well, my wife actually was at her job, and one of her residents, she got another one. It's the exact same eagle, the exact same. Everything is the exact same except for this one is just 3 inches tall. I mean, it's the exact duplicate. And I just thought that was pretty cool. I just brought it over here to show Lee this morning. But it was this the one with the eagle in the middle of it. But I just wanted to show you. I thought that was pretty cool. It's got the legs on the back of it, just like this one. It's just, 3 times smaller.
Miniature.
Dad.
Yeah. So the problem with this TV. So it's an old TV.
I think some of it's also paint.
Yes. So the kids had it playing it's called the Dove. That's your skillet.
Oh, okay.
So the problem, this TV is about, I don't know, 15 years old, 12 years old.
16 years old.
16 years old. I mean, it's an old TV. And the girls, when they were painting in the bathroom, or maybe it was the bedroom, one of them, they had their music playing through this or watching watching Netflix, whatever. They had stuff playing while they were painting. So that's actually paint on the back of the TV. But thank you for noticing.
Because me and Peyton got tasked to paint the ceiling in the upstairs bathroom. And so Peyton was on top of the counter. The TV was where my toolbox is. And Peyton's painting this way. And so it all just dripped on.
Yep. So she was splattering all over the back of the TV. And because it's an old TV, nobody really cared for it. I decided to confiscate it and stick it out here. And it's bigger than the monitor, the computer monitor that I have. So somebody
helps me see.
Can see us on TV. So, but I got a feeling we're going to run out of gas today.
You do?
Because Thursday, it got down into the red. So I've got a little gauge on my propane tank, and it got down into the red Wednesday.
So what are you going to do?
We got another tank over there.
Yeah.
Should you just be safe and switch it before you
Why?
fire?
You got to use it like gas.
Yeah, because if I do a drop switch, because I got to remember how they check the date on that.
It's on that. Yeah, I'll show you. It's on the it's usually stamped inside the handle on the top.
Okay, so when you do a drop and switch, they don't care. But when you go to the other trivet was called the White Lily, not this one, your other one.
Yeah, I thought that was a boat propeller or something in the middle of it. I didn't know that it was a flower.
Tom, you are funny. Let's not.
Run gas, get out the charcoal. I thought about that because I was at Sam's yesterday, and they had the Miller Lite Kingsford beer coal.
That's what it was called.
Yep, it's right over there.
You bought it?
Yeah, and it was like $14. It was like 13 and some change. So I got it. I'm going to try it out. I also got the B&B char logs a couple weeks ago to try out. So I got some stuff to do soon. But let's just get this fired up. What do you think?
Yeah.
So we're going to use the square grill pan. Why? Because I don't use it very often, and I want grill marks. This was a gift from my oldest one a couple years ago, an old Mountain. It is a Chinese one, but I don't care. I like cast iron. So, yeah, see, she barely got up off of it.
You won't even have enough to get the pan on.
Probably not, but if we don't, we'll change that. Here we go. There's a little bit of fire for you, Charlie.
Okay, then.
What's up, Pete? Let's move this way. Now, beer-infused charcoal. Yeah, the world's coming to hell in a handbasket. Yep. Last night at the auction, they had the Kingsford cumin and
he's been trying to get rid of those bags. The cumin,
paprika, I think it was.
Cumin paprika. He had two of them when I was there 2 weeks ago.
He had 3 bags they were pellets.
Mm-hmm.
And because I was like, ooh, I've passed up the charcoal briquettes, like the small bags, at $3. So I was kind of like, I don't know, we'll see. Because these were bigger bags, and I thought they were the briquettes, but he said they were pellets, and I was like, I'm not touching those because it'll take me forever to use them.
Right.
Just because I don't use pellets that often. Because I don't even have a pellet cooker. I just use the pellet tube or I throw it in my basket. But I wanted a little more smoky flavor because they burn up and I don't get the whatever scent's supposed to be in the pellets. They just burn up really fast and I just get the smoke from it. So it's an added smoke.
And throwing those on top of a live fire like that, even though it's a live fire in the firebox, putting them out down in the coals, they just burn up so quick.
Yep. So I kind of take handfuls and throw them in there sporadically, so it falls in between the nooks and crannies.
Right.
So Devin's watching. How you doing, buddy? He's on Facebook. So I didn't upload any pictures to show any cooks because I figured he had 8 days to come up with content to keep us talking.
Like I could think of this place the week that I just had.
So he can tell us about his week. Smells like a Mexican restaurant.
And ocean.
Oh, burning spices. Oh, okay. The burning spices. Yeah, I don't know. So I was at breakfast, and Devin would probably know some of these guys, but I was at breakfast Thursday morning, and one of the fellows was asking what a reverse sear was. And just so happened they were talking about pork chops, and I was like, ooh, a good thick pork chop sounds good. So I went to my food line, and they had these thick pork chops. They's pretty thick. They're about an inch, 3/4 inch thick. So I got a couple of them. We used some this morning just to kind of cook in the griddle pan, and then later on I'm going to do a video on how to reverse sear pork chops, because he was asking, how do you do that? He's heard the term, but he didn't know what it was. So when I was like, okay, well, you know what a sear is. You got your hot stuff, you throw it on there, wait a minute, flip it, wait a minute, flip it, wait a minute, turn it, flip it. And he goes, yeah. That's okay. Well, that's a sear. And then you move it off to the side and it finishes off. Well, on a reverse sear, we're going to bring it up to temperature first and then up to about 100 degrees. Well, this is what I'm going to do later. Not now. But later, I'll bring it up to about 100 degrees internal temp and then do the sear process over the hot stuff. So that'll be coming up for that guy. But it was nice talking to him, and some people don't know.
Exactly.
And they don't know, and that's what we're here for. So yeah, and then with pork chops, you gotta have applesauce. Sam's Club yesterday did not have the big jars. I don't know why. So we got the small ones, the small cups. So we'll have some applesauce, and then of course, growing up, we had pork chops and applesauce it was, if not weekly, bi-weekly, because pork was cheap back then.
Mm-hmm.
And so we would have pork chops and applesauce, some bone-in. Well, most of it was bone-in pork chops. But
that's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a lot cheaper.
And we would have some sort of mixed veggies, green beans or just a mixed veggie blend, because these were cheap too. So we're going to use that. I'm going to hand me that little skillet right there. So this honey badger is the unmarked Wagner that I found and did my video on. Can't really see that. There it is. Did the video on with the cast iron cure. Now, what I found interesting was there was a fella that I was scrolling through YouTube, and he was trying to show unmarked Wagners, the difference between unmarked Wagner and unmarked Griswolds. And he was saying, and I don't know the difference, and I don't know that it's real, but they're the same triangle, but the handle was different. So the handle came out to more of a point here, where this A is. It should have been come into a point, but otherwise it was the same as an unmarked Wagner. And I was like, I don't know. So then it got me thinking, maybe I've got an unmarked Griswold, but according to the one website that I go to and I trust, there's not a unmarked Griswold section. So if somebody knows more than me, which is very possible, everybody, please let me know. But as far as I know, this is an unmarked Wagner. Beautiful piece. Oh. Mm-mm-mm. And I can show the difference. So here's an unmarked Wagner, completely unmarked. Right? See how the handle comes to more of a point? This is the one that I got. So he was saying this would be a Griswold and this is a Wagner. But I don't know. So y'all can tell me. Is this the handle of a Griswold? Because I don't have a Griswold. Is this the handle of a Griswold making this an unmarked Griswold? But I know this is an unmarked Wagner. So we're going to use the unmarked whatever it is today.
Just call it the mystery. I named the pan.
And you can go ahead and heat that up. We're going to try to...
Careful.
Boom. There it is. So please, you know, somebody, the Peter Brady dinner, pork is still the cheapest meat. It is. It absolutely is.
The Brady Bunch. We'll go down to Butcher Sam to get our pork chops.
Yeah. I'm going to just spray this here. I like using the spray because it's easy to get around all the nooks and crannies.
Dad, do you remember making us the pork chops with that white sauce?
White sauce.
It was like Pete's white sauce.
Oh, yeah.
We always did that on the pork with applesauce.
Yep. So we would do the Alabama white sauce, but Pay would make it, and we called it the Big Pete sauce because it never turned out the same twice. However she did it, it always came out different every time. Same ingredients, same recipe, but I think her measurements were just off on something. So yeah, these are some pretty thick chops. Let's set it down like this. Got a little sizzle.
Tony's in.
What's up, Tony? Pull this in. Here we go. So then, because it's Melanoma Awareness Month, I'm going to put that in there. And we're going to make a ribbon. Now, if you watched Wednesday, I got a little bit left. I made a little South Texas red black rub. We'll just go ahead and finish that off. The fan's blowing it. Just enough for that one. That worked out good. That's good. So I'll use that make that another time. Check that out.
Come out real good.
That one come out good.
That's picture worthy right there.
Yeah. Where's my camera? We'll try to do that. Pork chops and applesauce. All right. So this other one I'm going to try. I think I'll just use my. Well, we use this one. I haven't used this one in a little bit. I'm trying to get through this steak one. Mm-hmm. It's a Blackstone steak seasoning. Ooh. Let's try to put the rib in there.
You can brand it.
I'm going to on the other side. And then I've got this like little hat pin. It's a ribbon that I wrapped in foil. So I'm going to try to put that in the center. And it could be a complete fail. I don't know. And I don't care. All right. Poo-poo. Now that's going to be tricky to get out. So tell us a little bit more about your culinary experience at the. Because you should have ate good.
Actually, whenever I told you I'm going to be eating it, to get me a big old ribeye or a porterhouse every night of the week, whatever.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. I mean, our classes ran way over, and we'd get back to the hotel at 6 o'clock, 6:30, and I'm in bed by like 7:30, 8 o'clock every night.
Okay.
And so by the time I got upstairs, unloaded my laptop, come down, we just went ahead and ate dinner at the hotel most of the time.
You made dinner at the hotel?
Ate dinner.
Oh.
And they had, it was a hotel dinner. I mean, it wasn't nothing fancy at all. But they had.
Hi, Pitlife.
Johnny May.
A lot of times it was meatballs. Then they had mashed potatoes and gravy, mixed vegetables, and they always had a hot dog bar set up. So they had one of those enclosed hot dog steamers with the buns and everything in there.
Oh, yeah.
And so they had that every night. But the main meal, it fluctuated from meatballs, a chicken Alfredo dish, and what was the other one? I don't even remember because, it was chili. And the chili tastes like you went to Food Line, got you a 69-cent can of Cadbury's hot dog chili, and poured it in your bowl. It was bad. But you could always take that and put that on your hot dog if you wanted on your hot dog.
Right.
They always had some type of a soup. They had a vegetable soup, a vegetable soup, a chicken noodle soup, and a tomato basil soup. And it just alternated every other day.
How was the tomato basil?
The tomato basil soup was the only one. I ate it.
Oh!
Because the tomato was cooked in it. I can't eat raw tomato. I can eat cooked tomatoes. And the tomato basil soup.
That changes every time we cook tomatoes.
No. If they're already cooked and processed in a jar or in a soup or something, I can eat them. Now, for me to take a raw tomato and slice it up and cook it, for some reason, it's different. The acid is still in there. The acid is what gets me.
Yeah.
But the tomato basil soup, I've tasted all three of them, and that was the only one that I went back for and ate multiple times. I did not like the other two at all.
Okay.
But it was the tomato basil was really, really good. Breakfast, we had biscuits, gravy, sausage patties, scrambled eggs, and they had two sets of scrambled eggs. One was just eggs. The other one had sausage and cheese in it. It was like a sausage scramble. And they always had a big old huge pot of oatmeal. And then you had your little dispensers for cereal. And they had Raisin Bran, Cheerios, the Life, the little square Life cereal. And they had, one of them had, I forgot what kind of cereal it was, but it had little marshmallows in it.
What's going on, Steven?
So, Johnny Mac saw the title now, the Brady Bunch stuck in my head. Steven and Jacqueline are in.
I didn't want to do that.
Steven's saying that it's been raining. And then
not here, surprisingly.
James said everyone got mad at Rusty for eating all the hot dogs.
No, I didn't touch a hot dog. I didn't touch the chili. Well, I did touch it. That's how I know what it tasted like. But only once. But we were right next door to we had a Cracker Barrel in the same parking lot as the hotel. So a lot of people just walked over to the Cracker Barrel and ate. We had a Longhorn Steakhouse across the street. There was a Red Robin, a big hamburger place.
They got the
unlimited fries and unlimited burgers now.
Really?
Yeah. But I ate there for the first time. And whenever I ordered my burger, it was their spicy burger that had the pepper jack cheese and jalapenos and onions and stuff on it. And then she said, well, what kind of side do you want? And I said, I don't want a side. She said, well, we got steak fries, we got sweet potato fries. She started naming them all. And I said, no, I just want the burger. She said, well, it comes with the fries. I said, I'm ordering a burger. I'm not ordering any fries. I said, all I want is the burger. And she said, okay. And then I told her I said I needed to go back to the hotel. So it was one burger to go. That was it. No drink because, I got my water jug at the house. At the hotel room. I just want a burger. $22 for a burger. And I'm like,
doesn't pay to go out to eat anymore.
And I'm like, I will never come back to Red Robin again. And she said, well, but I was looking at the receipt. Luckily I was able to expense it all, so it didn't cost me anything really.
Yeah.
But just looking at the receipt, and I said, really? I said, $22 for a burger? She said, well, it's not just a burger. It's a burger and it's fries, but you didn't want the fries. I said, no, I didn't. I said, but still, it's $22 for a burger and fries? I said, you're charging $10 for a burger, $10 for fries? I said,
well, look at when you go to Five Guys. It's $10 or $12 for just the burger, and then you got to order the fries on top of that. So then it's another $8 for fries.
Yeah, and they give you a 5-pound bag of fries.
Yeah, they give you a bunch of fries, but that's where Red Robin gets you is they charge you $22, but it comes with the drink, which is usually not much anyway. But then you get unlimited fries. So you would fill up on fries. But
I went out to this new place. Our instructor, he was from Germany, and what was it called? Viva Chicken. Either Viva Chicken or Chicken Viva. But it was a Peruvian chicken restaurant. And I went there, the chicken seasoning, the advertisement said they marinate their chicken for 24 hours and have the Peruvian spices and all. And so I said, okay, well, I'm going to get that. And then I guess the sides that I chose was the fried rice with the Peruvian vegetables and Peruvian spices. And I didn't like the other choices, so I just got 2 orders of the fried rice.
What is Peruvian spice?
I don't know. I didn't ask him.
Okay.
But I got that, and the seasoning on top of the chicken was great. The middle of the chicken was dry, and I'm like, there's no way this was marinated for 24 hours. There was absolutely zero moisture in this chicken. But the rice was amazing, and it was 10 times better than the chicken itself. Now, if you took the skin off of the chicken, their spice blend was really, really good. But once you got into the meat, it was dry, no flavor, no seasonings inside whatsoever.
Yesterday morning, went through Mickey D's and got sausage McMuffin, and it was almost what?
$5.
Oh, it was $5. Dang. So I did. You were talking about the inside of it being dry. I did do the soda can or the soda marinated for 24 hours. The chicken marinated for 24 hours. I got the video shot, but it didn't work. I didn't get any orange flavor. It turned the chicken orange. It had an orange tint to it, but it didn't give it any orange flavor, so I was kind of bummed. Stir that. You're over here yapping, and I'm reaching in front of you.
When I got home yesterday, it was all super gloomy. It was misting and drizzling just a little bit. I got home at like 7:15 yesterday morning, and I've been gone for 8 days. I had a hankering. I wanted to fire up my grill or my smoker or something. I was going to the freezer trying to find something to pull out, but I looked at my phone. It said it was going to be raining all day.
Which is crazy because mine said it was like I saw you post that, and I was like, mine just says only for like an hour that there was a chance.
Well, mine said it was intermittent all day, and so I'm like, well, dang, I can't pull nothing out of the freezer. I can't fire up the grill and the smoker. But again, that was at 7:15. At about 11 o'clock, the sun was awesome. I mean, it's super bright outside, and then it just stayed that way and kept getting better and better as far as the weather goes. So I decided, okay, well, I am going to fire up the grill.
Okay.
And so I went to the store because everything was frozen at the house because, of course, I didn't tell them to lay anything out. And I'm going to look at some ribeyes and decided I wasn't going to do ribeyes. They were just too expensive. So I got me 2 packs of New York strips. And I made New York strips, corn on the cob, and grilled brioche buns with butter, garlic, and pepper on it. And I just buttered them up and I just laid them on the grill to get toasted, and had some mixed vegetables. And so I cooked some steaks on the grill last night, so at least I got to cook.
Yeah. Good.
So Tom, when he said his comment about the
We got no fire.
McMuffin,
Cool.
Dad,
But I smell gas really strong.
Cut them off.
I do believe we are infected.
it's happening because irresponsible. There was a case of an irresponsible parent leaving their 2-year-old child in it for over 48 hours.
Of what?
We were talking about why McDonald's is changing their policy to 21 and up to 98. They are not. Some of them are selling alcohol, but making their McFlurries alcoholic.
What?
But some of them aren't. The ones near us aren't.
Get out of here. I had it buried.
Hi, Dwayne.
What's up, Big D? Dude's got he gave me a great idea on the one burgers that I made the other day. The pot pie burgers.
Right.
So I had thought about doing there it is. I had thought about doing like wrapping them in bacon, but I didn't have. I don't know. I didn't have something. Didn't have bacon, or I didn't have the time. Didn't take the time. So anyway, but yeah, wrapping them in bacon or something would have been fantastic. Doing a little foil thing around would have been great. Some way to hold them up. So I was thinking about going to Hobby Lobby because they've got little spring forms. But the chances are I'm not going to make that many of them anymore. So, I mean, I'll probably make some point, but I don't know. I got to justify the cost. When I could just empty a couple tuna cans and that'd probably be just as fine, right?
Yeah, it should be smaller.
And cut the bottom out, and then but a can would still sit in there, and it would come up the sides and be able to cook, and then the grease fall out. So I might do that. I might just take some tuna cans or something, or springform, the small springform pans to do that with. That'd be kind of cool.
Wouldn't you need a bigger springform though? Because you saw how much beef you had around that can. That won't fit in a tuna can.
Well, it would make a smaller burger then, a smaller cup. You would pack that in there and then pack it up the sides instead of using a soda can.
Oh, I thought you were talking about taking a soda can and sticking it in the form inside a tuna can. I'm like, your walls are going to be
no.
thick. That ain't going to work.
With the tuna can, you would have to put your meatball in there, smash it, and then form it up the sides.
Oh, okay.
But with the spring form, you would be able to do the same thing basically without the bottom in it. So all your grease would come out the bottom. And then you could undo the latch and open it up so it'd pull away from the burger. So I might end up over at Hobby Lobby soon to get a couple small spring form pans. But
I mean, I've got a set of spring forms at the house, but the only thing I've ever used them for is cheesecake.
Those are the bigger ones, the 9-inch ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that would be one heck of a burger.
Yeah, it would.
That would be one heck of a burger.
But that's the only thing I've ever used my springform pans for.
Yeah. Well, and that's where we try to do things a little outside the box.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Big D's in. One of the big reasons McDonald's is doing it is teens are tearing up the place. Oh, well, that's because of the viral TikTok stuff, I guess. There's always videos going around of people getting crazy in the restaurants. Small salmon or tuna can is also good for cheap strainers or cheap steamer. Platform platter. Yeah.
Okay.
Hope you don't hear Trinidad. Whoa, Cubbo.
Sorry. I didn't do anything. Alcohol and McFlurry. Heck yeah.
I don't really care. I don't go to McDonald's.
Yeah, I think McDonald's, any fast food restaurant serving alcohol, I just think is a bad idea.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people, there's a trend going on TikTok where people, teens especially, go into fast food restaurants, trash the place, stand on the counter, and demand stuff.
Yeah, that wouldn't fly in my 22 years of restaurant management. Somebody standing on the counter, here, sir, let me help you down.
Yeah. Yeah, but now in the American way is to sue somebody, so you'd end up getting sued.
I don't care.
But let's see. So what else happened while you were gone? You've been gone for 2 weeks, and now you ain't saying nothing about it. You're being tight-lipped.
Well, the training that I went down for this time was for Epson printers. And it is the high-end industrial commercial Epson printers. The cheapest one that we were working on was a $2,000 printer, and that was a T-series, which is technical series, and that's for people that have a home office, and they print things off of like AutoCAD, where your lines and all have to be exactly super precise, and the home versions are in the $2,000 range. And that was the cheapest printer we worked on. Then we stepped up to the DTGs, which is direct-to-garment printers. So people that have T-shirt shops and stuff like that they print on shirts, sweaters, hoodies. You can print on beach towels, whatever, but it goes directly to the garment. Whereas before, they went to an iron-on transfer paper, and then you put that on the garment and use your heat press to transfer the image. Now they print straight on the material. And those printers start at about $15,000. So you're walking down the boardwalk at the beach, and you see these T-shirt shops that have those printers in there. Those are $15,000 printers. They go up to $22,000 depending upon which attachment you get, because they've got a ball cap attachment so you can print directly on your hat. They've got shoe presses so you can, or a shoe horn. You can put your tennis shoes on there, and they print directly on your shoes. But they have all kinds of options like that. And then we go to the industrial commercial ones, and those are $60,000 and $80,000 printers. And I'm sitting here being trained on how to replace a $3,000 print head on a $60,000 machine. But it was just some really, really in-depth training. The hardware part was pretty simple, because you have to go to your manual, and you got to replace the print head. It has a step-by-step instructions, and it says remove left screws on left side cover, and it's step by step which screws you have to remove, which pieces you got to remove first, because all that plastic molds on top of each other, and you can't take the middle piece off if you haven't taken the left and the right caps off first. I mean, there's a special way you had to go, so we had to learn the procedures. Luckily, we have the manual, so we got the step by step. The screw manual, because there's metal screws, there's plastic screws, there's D8s, there's different sizes. You got to remember what screw goes to what plastic part, goes to what part of the chassis. And I mean, it was just a lot of in-depth stuff like that. But the really hard stuff, like I was telling you, was never after you replace the hardware and you have to go through the training of it and the programming. the so minute details. It's going to print a nozzle check. And then I've got this device, I've already put it back in the car, but it's called an eye loop. And you got to stick that on the paper and go to every single line and make sure every line is perfect. If you have a line that's out of sync or a block's missing, you got to do a nozzle clean because there's no ink coming out of that nozzle. You got to do a carriage adjustment because the print head needs to be moved a little bit to the left, right, or whatever. I mean, that was some really, really in-depth stuff there. And I'm afraid that's the part that's going to make me not be able to do the job. But I'm going to go get an eye exam and get new glasses and see what all I can do there. But it was just, we had so many different models. We were, first, day one in class was simply, book learning. There was a big PowerPoint presentation, and it was, this is what we're going to be doing this week. And then on Tuesday.
A lot of them are doing that now.
And then Tuesday, that's the way you do a training class. You do your syllabus first. And then the second day is when you start breaking apart your equipment. And so on day 2, 3, 4, and 5, we had all these machines that we had to break down. And these are all lab machines. And we were, I don't know what class we were, but we had so many machines that were missing screws, broken clips. And our instructor, this was his first time in that lab. And he was saying, talking about he couldn't believe how the previous instructors let the technicians put the stuff back together, but they didn't have the right screws. And how did this happen? How did that happen? And so, but
it's part of your training.
Yeah,
lab work to show somebody.
Right, but the previous instructor should have said, "Hey, you're missing this screw. Find it."
Unless he did that on purpose, like came back and did that on purpose for you guys to have.
No, it was the classes. They didn't. They lost the stuff and they broke clips and all while they were putting it back together. And one good thing is the instructor told us for the first 6 months. Because there were 6 of us in the class that we flew in from all over the country, and he told us for the first 6 months of this Epson project, y'all are going to be totally useless to us. He said, we know you're going to lose screws, you're going to break clips, you're going to touch the print head with your finger and damage your print head. We know that this is going to happen, and so don't y'all feel bad whenever y'all get to a store and y'all can't put the machine back together. Y'all can't find something. He said, you just call me. I'll walk you through it and we'll get through it together. He said, but don't lie and don't try and cover it up. Because we know that it's going to happen. We expect it to happen. Let us know when it happens and we'll help you through it. So, but they realized that 6 months, we're going to be breaking these $60,000 printers.
So, Tom, I remember back in the day, I mean, Waffle House was,
Waffle House is the place to
you
go.
show up at 2, 3 in the morning and there was always the drunks in there hooping and hollering and yelling, and it was a mess. So I can see where I don't understand the McDonald's selling alcohol.
Some of them do.
That's the only reason to get the 21 and up crowd. But McDonald's has always been kind of cheap, fast, and kid-friendly from when I grew up.
Yeah.
So
to
take that away, I don't see it. I mean, they were trying to do I know they've been trying to find a way to make more money, and they were trying to do a a varying menu. So the prices would vary depending on what time of day you went. So your lunch menu would be one price. Your in between, like your 2 to 4:30 would be a different price, and then your dinner price would be higher than that price. Like it was a rolling thing they were trying to put out. I don't know that ever took off.
I just asked Google what American locations of McDonald's serve alcohol, and it says there are no American locations that serve alcohol, but there are several locations in many international countries, including Italy, France, Spain, and Germany, where beer is offered on the menu. So there is, as of right now, there is none in the United States that serve alcohol.
Yep. I think that's just a bad move for McDonald's if that is true.
And then again, they won't be able to serve liquor. No one got to add liquor to the drinks and stuff.
It would be like White Claws and stuff like that, but the seltzers, the beers, a couple beers, whatever. Kind of like
they said that only beers when they said. So.
Yeah, it would be
so
kind of like
to get a shot of vodka in your Oreo McFlurry.
It'd be like Moe's Southwest Grill. They have beer,
right?
But I think that's a bad move. I would like to see playgrounds come back. The difference being now the parents are, what's the term I'm looking for? Willy-nilly with their kids, so they just let them run, and it's all, then they're always looking for a lawsuit. So I see why the playgrounds went away, but I mean that was always nice when our kids were little. To go to Chick-fil-A, that was the only place that had a playground. And the Burger King across town, but that was clear across town. So we would go to Chick-fil-A, where it was an indoor.
That was the one on selling these, wasn't it?
Yeah. And they tore it down.
Yeah.
So, but
whenever I was restaurant manager at Hardee's, we went through a major lawsuit, and then they shut the gates of all playgrounds, and then they just started tearing them down and getting rid of them.
Them bad boys is done. Reading it at 150, so I went a little more than what I wanted, but that's okay. We'll cut this off. Then you're going to ask why I add the water, just to help steam the underside so I didn't burn it, and to add a little more moisture so the top didn't dry out.
I wasn't going to ask.
Oh.
They might have asked.
They did it.
They didn't. They probably didn't even notice. But that's okay. So, let's see. We'll get a diner plate.
A white plate?
Well, it's diner style because it's oval. I guess I'll get two. Okay. What's that? The alcohol sales theory is gaslighting. I never understood what gaslighting meant.
What does gaslighting mean?
Are y'all serious?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Partly.
So, I'll give you the actual definition.
I'm old, Cub.
You're
I don't
not
understand
old.
that crap.
You do this a lot.
I do.
No, you do a lot.
What do you mean? You mean I because I don't know?
Did you put any seasoning on the vegetables?
Just a little salt, pepper.
Okay.
You were yapping.
Oh, another bit of interesting news. In the second week in June, I'm flying to New Jersey for a second training class for Fuji color printers that they use in Walgreens and Walmart and stuff to print photos.
Oh, look at you.
They're flying me to Jersey for a week.
International man of mystery right here. Oops, I just dropped all over the floor.
Gaslighting is where someone manipulates another person to doubting their own sanity, perception, or reality. It involves repeatedly denying, distorting, or minimizing someone else's feelings, experiences, and the truth of events. So, like, if I saw Dad break something of Mom, and you were telling me that I did it, that you didn't do it, but you saw that I did it, it's going to make me question what actually happened.
Okay, guess. I noticed the water, but figured... Oh, I had a reason for doing it. Yeah, that's why. Gaslighting is creating a false narrative to cover up real issues. Okay. What?
Gaslighting is when Rusty says he likes your food.
Okay, I believe it. Yeah, I mean, this is I guess I could dump this out.
No reason to dump it.
Pork chops and applesauce, because Cub likes to move her pork chop into her applesauce and eat everything in the applesauce. Or at least she used to as a kid. So now let's get a couple.
Because you have to have ranch now.
Oh no. We ain't doing no dang ranch.
I will. You have to have ranch now. Especially if you mix the applesauce and the ranch.
Oh, you're kidding.
No.
You'll put salad dressing on applesauce.
Yeah. Because
Wow.
then I'm taking my pork chop in it.
Wow.
No, it's not salad dressing. It is ranch.
I found a recipe for ranch cookies.
Oh.
Ranch dressing cookies.
So, my sister-in-law.
And you can blame Aunt Teresa.
My sister-in-law sent me a picture. What's up, Scotty? Hey, how's the soccer, man? He's doing soccer and working a lot.
Yeah.
Scotty's playing soccer?
No,
well, his boy. His
I was
great.
going to say he would, like, cop something.
Age does get the best of us, Cub.
He'll pull his hammy.
So my sister-in-law, ooh, that pin is hot. My sister-in-law sent me a picture saying that my brother-in-law wanted cookies. So they went to this bakery. And this bakery had Frank's Red Hot cookies and ranch cookies. And I said, well, how were they? And she said, we ain't tried them yet.
No, I don't blame her.
Yeah, I don't know that I would either.
I would try the ranch ones.
No, you take your ranch cookie,
dip it in ranch.
take ranch dressing and dip it in ranch.
You can never, nothing tastes bad with ranch.
Scotty's working 6 days a week. Grandkids, keeping him busy. Yep. I don't have grandkids, but I can understand what the kids keeping you busy.
Oh, yeah.
Even though mine are grown, they still keep me busy.
I just try to get you to watch Dr. Pimple Popper with me.
She watches some of the weirdest stuff. This dude had some growth on his foot that made it a flapper. Like, seriously, a duck flapper.
I watched.
It was so, and then they're like, and I was like, I am done. I've got to leave because I am getting sick.
I watched the entire series of My Feet Are Killing Me. So it's like tumors and apparatuses on your foot, and they dissect it and they show you the whole surgery process. And now
I've never heard of that one. I've heard of Dr. Pimple Popper because Teresa watches that.
And now I'm watching Dr. Pimple Popper. Like, I found season 1, and I'm watching it.
I don't get into all that stuff.
No.
It's satisfying, like the
No,
pop,
it's not.
the slice and squirting it out, and it all looks like cottage cheese.
It's what's satisfying is waking up not having dry heaves. Right? So you wake up early in the morning, you got the dry heaves, and then you take a nap and you wake up, you don't have them. That is satisfying. What you're talking about is stomach turning. And it's almost like when you eat something and then you get like really nauseous and you stay nauseous until you throw up. That is satisfying.
Well, like that.
This is not.
When you have a lipoma this big.
No.
And they slice it and they just pull it all at one time and it all comes out like cottage cheese.
No.
That's satisfying.
No, it's not.
That is like a good pop.
No. So, growing up, did you used to have dishes like this?
Yep, Mama did it. We always had applesauce in the house. We had the kind with a cinnamon in it. That was just the family favorite.
Yep.
So she had the cinnamon applesauce, and she would do the thinner pork chops that had the bones in them.
Yep.
And they were always fried. They were never grilled.
Okay.
And that was just, she run it through the egg wash, the dredge, and then fry them. And there was pork chops and applesauce.
Yep.
It was always a combination.
Yep. The girls always liked it because they would cut the pork chop up and put it. We would have to cut it for them, and then they would dip it in their pork or applesauce.
I never did that.
And then they would mix in the applesauce with their veggies so that way they could eat the veggies. But looking here, this little ribbon centerpiece worked out pretty good.
Yeah.
That one looks really good too.
Yeah, this one looks real good.
Yeah.
Honey, James just said, dry heave, sis, and gaslighting Sunday morning show. I love it. Well, like this one guy, James.
Hi, Sherry. How are you?
I need a picture of this.
Yep.
This one guy, he was 83, and he finally went. He had this thing since he was 20. Okay, 20. That's like a lot of years.
63.
Yeah. He had this big thing that went like right here, but he also had them on his head, so it all looked like a balloon arch almost. And those were just each one of them had different color pus and like a different texture of the pus. It was really cool.
I was gonna hand you a fork, but now I don't know if I want to.
Like the one on the head was a white, creamy, like ribbon looking one. The one on the side was like chunky, plumpy. Tom said it sounds like an episode of Grey's Anatomy.
I can't watch that show. My wife, like, at first I just didn't like the medical drama stuff because a lot of it was over my head. But then after having the brain surgery and watching Dr. Shepard fillet the people's brains open, and I was like, that was me. If I would have had if this guy would have farted, then I could have been paralyzed or something else. It was just I can't watch it. And so the wife was like, well, you're just a guy, and blame it on me being insensitive and a guy and just selfish in what I care about, I guess. But I was like, no, this is why. And then she goes, oh, I get it now. So like post-surgery, I can't watch any medical shows. And the stuff that she's watching now, it just makes me sick.
It's so satisfying. Me and Mom sit there like, whoa.
Yeah. All right. The texture is extremely smooth, delicate, practically melts in your mouth. The flavor is really, really good. I mean, the seasoning that's on there, there's a little bit of bite. I don't know if it's the pepper or just a little hint back in the back end. But extremely juicy, extremely moist, very tender. This is a very, very good pork chop.
Oh, yeah. I like that. That's good. Rusty's gaslighting right now. Okay, I get it. I kind of understand what gaslighting is now. And it's not just because he's getting to eat breakfast for free. I like pork chops, especially my mom and dad used to always just throw it in there and let it go. They did it by time. So they'd say, throw it in the oven, 350 for 45 minutes or an hour. And then they put barbecue sauce on it, and that was it. No. So you had dried out pork chops all the time.
My mom and dad, it was always fried pork chops. We never had them like this. I didn't start having them like this until I started cooking.
And we would get shake and bake every now and again. That was always cool.
It's shake and bake, and I helped.
And they still sell that.
Yes, they do.
I saw that not too long ago. But good.
We're supposed to get some rain.
Yeah. You gotta do some cooking today.
Sometimes my mom will use a smoke alarm as a meet thermometer.
Same thing Mike said about Alice's pork chops. Oh, yeah.
Alice's Diner.
Well, no, it was Mike Brady.
Oh.
Talking about the housekeeper, Alice.
Okay.
Yeah. Alice's Diner. I remember that, bits and pieces of it. Was that Carol Burnett? No. It was a redhead that had bright...
really big hair. She always said, kiss my grits.
Yeah. And the guy always came in. He was the one maintenance guy, and he always had a cigarette pack rolled up in his shirt sleeve.
And the owner of Mel, his name was Mel. He always had a white overcoat, like a white butcher's.
The show was
overcoat.
Alice.
Alice, okay.
Well, Alice was the one I'm talking about. The diner was a spin-off of that.
I don't know. They just said it was just
It
called
was just
Alice.
called Alice. Okay. I remember. I haven't seen it
Alice.
anywhere.
That's the last 3 comments. It's just called Alice.
Yep.
But I remember watching that as a kid because that's what my parents liked.
Right. Okay. So, any other takeaways from this last week? Glad to be home and cooking.
Very glad to be home. I'm not looking forward to this contract just because of the visual issues that I've got, but I'll get through it. And the Fuji contract, the Fuji printers, those printers are small enough, they'll sit on this table. Those are not near as complex as the Epson printers.
Linda Lyman, Chick Tabet, Holly Holiday.
Flow was a spinoff. That's it.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah. Flow. Yeah.
I just remember her always saying, "Kiss my grits."
Yep. I always remember the guy that had the cigarettes rolled up in his shirt, and the one shirt sleeve was always the only one rolled up. The other one wasn't. And he always wore a vest. Had the little creeper mustache. But, all right. Well, you got any big culinary plans this week?
I got nothing going on this week. I do got to do.
The other show you're thinking of is One Day at a Time.
One day at a time. I don't remember that one.
That's what
That
James
had
said.
Valerie Bertinelli in it. I'm pretty sure that one had Valerie Bertinelli.
Snyder.
That's the guy, Snyder. Yeah.
He was the maintenance guy who was, oh God, can't even think of his name, but no, that was his start, and he's now a really big famous actor. God, who was that? Was that Richard Gere?
Mr. Roper.
I can't even remember now.
Mackenzie Phillips. Okay.
But our vet who's been taking care of the dog, I'm doing a big barbecue, baked bean slaw meal for their whole office. I'll be doing that. I'll be cooking that Thursday night into Friday morning. So Friday when I leave the house, I can stop by their office and I can leave them all that.
Okay.
Trump said, I remember Snyder always saying, always remember and never forget.
Always remember, never forget. I was talking to a guy a couple weeks ago when we were walking, and I quoted the saint Colin Ray, where Jesus will forgive, but a daddy won't forget. And he goes, I've never heard that. And I was like, oh, man. I could remember the album. I could remember, like, it was like track 4, but I couldn't remember the name of the song. But anyway, sidetrack.
The vegetables are still really crispy. They're still really good crisp. They're still hard. They're not soggy like you would get if you use canned vegetables instead of the frozen. That makes a big difference in the texture.
Yep. I prefer the frozen veggies over canned.
I prefer canned.
So, well, I don't know what all I got going on this week until this week happens. So, it is still Melanoma Awareness Month. So, if y'all get checked,
Don't end up on my shows.
yeah, if something looks a little funky on the skin, go get checked. I'll end this with just a little fact that if you've had like 3 to 5 sunburns, like major sunburns, each sunburn does damage to the skin. And if you've had some really bad sunburns where you've blistered, you could be, you are susceptible to skin disease, skin cancer. May not be melanoma, could be one of the others, but it's still something to get checked. And yeah. So
And me, especially being balding on the top, whenever we go on the boat, go fishing and stuff, and I forget to bring my hat, I've had the top of my head blistered so many times.
Yep. And
I'm really lucky that, feeling my head and stuff, I don't feel any bumps or anything.
And you might not feel bumps, and maybe just a discoloration that, could be basal cell or something like that, where it's just a discoloration and not an actual cyst or a lump or something like that.
But I remember to put my hat on now. I'm not cutting the grass, weeding, fishing. I always have my hat on now.
Yep. So
I just have to be in a complete wetsuit because I get blistered so easy.
So we'll end it with practice safe, son. And you guys can't see Cub's face, but always
just
practice safe, son. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. And remember, there's 2 rules of cooking. Did you have fun? Did it taste good? Rock on. Y'all are awesome. Have a great week.
Have a great week, guys.
Don't do drugs.